What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is Florida-born rapper, producer, singer, songwriter, and content creator ToBy. We spoke about Netflix, anime, Cowboy Bebop, the filmography of Andy Samberg, cancel culture, mainstream rap's renewed interest in the pop punk aesthetic, genre blending, his varied musical background, his work for BuzzFeed, and the creative process behind his latest album, L'Esprit. Come fuck with us. I talk about shit, yeah. But, you know, banter is cool. I like banter.
Who doesn't? It makes the world go round.
Always. But yeah, but before we get started, like, how's your day been so far? How's everything? You're drinking water out of a mason jar right now? That's pretty cool.
You just caught me doing some embarrassing shit. I was eating baby food because I woke up like 30 minutes ago. And the story of why I even have baby food is really funny. I was just like at Ralph's, and like they have like a section of Ralph's where like shit is like price slashed, and yeah. I thought it was just like I thought it was literally just fruit puree, because there's baby food and then there's fruit puree.
Right.
Word, this fruit puree is dummy cheap. Let me just cop it, throw it in the fridge. I'll just eat it when I don't have time to make breakfast or whatever. That day came today, and I look at it and it says like, this is whole ass baby food, nigga, just so you know. And I was like, well.
So what kind of baby food was it?
It was delicious. I'm not gonna lie. It was strawberry and blueberry like mash. It tasted like jelly. It was awesome.
So like honestly, that sounds like a smoothie to me. Like more, because I won't lie. Whenever I make a smoothie, strawberries and blueberries are usually in there somewhere. It's like that, a banana, like some fucking cashew milk, or coconut milk. I prefer coconut milk, but
you know what it is? All those other ingredients add maturity. So I was just eating. It was like someone like mashed strawberries and blueberries. Like, here, you child.
Hey, if it's good, that's all that matters. If it's good, that's all that matters.
I would totally do it again, and I'm proud to talk about it.
When oh man, I'm trying to my sister was vegan for a while. Shout out to Joe if you're listening. So early on, they would get the little like juice box things that had the baby food in it, and it would be like ginger and carrot or like apple and whatever. So like there are definitely adults out there who eat baby, and it's cool. Like it's perfectly fine. Like,
I don't think anything wrong with it.
Yeah,
babies
like
they sell it in the store. A baby's not gonna buy it. An adult has to buy it.
Yeah, that's like I have a Babies R Us near me. Like, I live in Jersey, so on like the highway, there's like for some reason, like there was a Toys R Us right next to it. That's been gone, but Babies R Us is still there. And every time I think about it, I just think like I wonder if like an infant has ever tried to go in and buy something off of like Babies R Us. I don't know, like not even like a baby, because like that's a little too unrealistic, but like a 5-year-old
toddler.
Yeah, like a 5-year-old walks in with like 35 cents they found in the fucking like couch. Like, I really want this Gerber's. Like, I don't know.
Give me the usual.
Give me the usual. Get the fuck out of here.
Now I'm thinking of like this whole like subculture of like children, like, and where do they shop at? Like you and your boys hit up the Oshkosh Bagosh. Yeah. Just like going hard, doing like dress up montages, looking fly as shit.
Right.
That's a show. Rugrats missed out.
Honestly, yeah. Like the new Rugrats could have gone crazy if they had them just go on a shopping spree at like KB Toys or some shit. shout out to KB Toys.
Boys. Oh, yeah.
Some people listening might be a little too young for that, but shout out to KB Toys.
Another era. Some people listening might be too young for Toys R Us.
Maybe, honestly, that's so crazy to think about. That's so crazy to think about. But like, you know, like, yeah, like toy stores are like, you know, like most people just go to Target and like get the Lego set.
I
Like,
mean, most kids don't even play with toys, you know, like they have their tablets and shit and their phones. Like that's
yeah,
entertainment now, which really makes
like,
me sad.
yeah, it makes me sad too. But I've seen enough kids like play with toys and like ask for toys to know that there's like it's still there, but like, you know, like you could really say that about any like tablets kind of just took over everything. You know, it was like like we weren't alive for this, but like when fucking Atari came out with the Atari 2600 and you just see like the fucking like the joystick on like the coffee table, people were like, see, that's the kids are too into their joysticks now. Like we go from the joysticks to the VHS tapes to the fucking to DVDs to like goddamn like starting out with like, and then I don't even know, just like the whole lineage, and now we're just at like tablets, and then we're gonna have like phones and tablets in our wrists in like 20 years. I'm kind of looking forward to that, honestly.
Me too. Oh my god, I can't wait. Because you know what it is? You can't like hide that screen, so you're gonna see a nigga on the train like watching anime and shit. Like,
oh hell yeah, it's gonna be hentai. Fuck anime. It's gonna be hentai type shit. Like, yeah, yeah. Like you can't hide the screen, so all you could do is hide your face. Just like you gotta like bundle up and like just like so your eyes are visible. Just like
nigga blew all his stacks on the wrist hologram, but he didn't buy headphones, so you just full blast hentai.
It's a fucking bust down AP flowing through your veins, like fucking diamonds clogging your arteries.
No, this dystopian future. Sign me up. I want it. I need it.
If I'm gonna die fancy, nigga. Come find me. Like
that's all it is.
God damn. We're already going, son. This is great. But I just realized I forgot to, or I didn't just realize, I forgot to do the drop. So I'm gonna do my drop.
Run it.
Oh shit. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. Time isn't a thing that exists anymore, so I don't know, like I know when this is going to air, but I'm not doing the numbers. I think it sounds stupid when I try to keep track of them, but I'm Dylan CineMasai. I do a lot, I say a lot, I think about a lot of things, and a lot of them are stupid, but you know, we're here. I'm chilling with somebody who thinks about as much stupid shit as I do. I've been fucking with this guy for what's it been, like a couple years now, like maybe like a year or two, something like that.
I want to say because I've been low key, high key stalking you because of your time at no, don't laugh because you were one of the dudes at DJ Booth that I was just like, damn, that was a fire article. I gotta see what this dude's on. So I was probably more aware of you longer than you were of me, but like officially I want to say like past 2 years.
Wow. Well, thank you. That's wild to hear. But you know, this guy is everywhere, man. He's a rapper. I think he also produces. I'm pretty sure you produce too, right? Yeah, I thought so. You're a rapper, producer. He's a fucking media personality doing shit over at BuzzFeed all the time. Just put out a great new album called Le Spirit, which is that how you pronounce it? Did I do it right?
L'Esprit. People think there's like an extra I, but it's just L'Esprit.
L'Esprit. Okay, yeah, it's just trick of the eye, whatever. So we got ToBy in the house. This is gonna be fun already. Thank you so much for coming on, bro. Like, thank you for even being interested. I really appreciate you.
No, 1000%. Thanks for having me. I've been laughing since I got here. So
nah, man, we're gonna try to keep this as fun as possible. That's really all we're about right now. So let me ask you the first thing I ask everybody who comes on here. What was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Ooh, the last movie or TV show that I watched. It's allowed to be like foreign, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Baki on Netflix.
Oh, how I haven't seen it yet. How is it?
It's ridiculous. Oh my God. That is one of the funniest animes I've ever seen. And it's not a comedy. Like it's supposed to be taken seriously. No, but because so what they did, Netflix adapted like this one arc of the Baki like manga run, which has started in the 80s. But now they're getting into the sequel to that arc. So the name of the show changed. Now it's like Baki Hanma, Son of the Ogre.
Yeah.
Man, niggas gonna know I'm a nerd after this. Hell yeah. And basically where it picks up, the main character is just this 18-year-old kid who really wants to fight his dad, which I personally resonate with. Like me and my pops are cool, but he's like a man's man, and I've always wanted to like scrap with my dad, and we're just cool because. Just because. No, you know what it was? It was Hot Rod. Hot Rod was just like, damn, I want to fight my dad. I want to see if I got it. I don't, but anyway, back to Baki. It's the story of, you know, a like-minded nigga who wants to beat his dad up. So this season he kidnapped. First episode, he kidnaps the president and gets sent to the worst jail on earth so he could train to fight his dad. And if that's not a ad, I don't know what is.
I mean, honestly, that sounds great. Like it's really just like One Punch Man, but the villain is your dad. Okay.
Pretty much.
I'm fine with that.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I would, if it's ever come up on your recommended, press play. You won't regret it.
All right. Now I'm gonna have to go find it because the last Netflix anime I was watching was I'm running through Psyche K right now, the Life and Times of Psyche K. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's like it's not wholesome, but it's just like really like cute, dumb, like high school humor. And it's for anybody listening who's never watched it, it's about a high school kid with pink hair and these two antennae in his head. And he has like the most crazy psychic powers imaginable. He's he's basically a god. Like he can read people's minds. He can teleport. He can maybe fly, and he can just like will the world to change. Like there's one episode where he mentions I think he like he's also got like super strength, and he can like give people powers for some reason. So like one time, so like he'll like give people powers. Like he'll make people be able to like jump really high, and then if somebody like suspects that he might have powers, he'll just like will it into existence that every human has like just enough strength to be able to like jump a building. And it's just like, oh, that's canon. He's like literally changing the canon as he goes along. It's just like this guy who's like completely apathetic because he's like a god. It's basically One Punch Man, but he's like a psychic superhero instead of just like being like the most brolic dude on the planet, you know? Like it's just, and he's in high school, and it's fun and it's cute and I like it. My homegirl Kelly put me onto that. Shout out to Kelly.
I think one of the funnest aspects of that show is how quick the humor is, because it is like traditionally a comedy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mile a minute, and a lot of it, like the translation sort of gets lost. So if you missed it, there's going to be a joke right after it that you do get. And they just like prioritize like rapid fire humor.
Yeah. And like all the characters get introduced like so quickly. And it's just like, it's one, like, I don't want to say you have to like pay fully attention. Well, I mean, I guess it would help to fully pay attention while watching the shit, but like, it's so fast paced that like you said, like if you miss one thing, you're going to catch another thing a couple seconds later. That's a great way to put it. I didn't think about it like that, but it's just like, yeah, like, and like all the episodes are, I think like 10 minutes each. So like you could run through like 6 in an hour about 6. Yeah. Cause there's 60 minutes in an hour. Yeah. But nah, I'm fucking with it. I'm just fucking with like the whole Netflix anime palette. Before we move on, now I got to ask, A, have you seen the Cowboy Bebop trailer? B, how do you feel about it? The live action joint.
Ooh, okay. So Cowboy Bebop is very close to my heart.
Same.
I saw some of the featurettes, you know, and like the theme song. It's gonna be its own thing, which I think makes me happy. You know, like they're not gonna try and remake Cowboy Bebop. I think they're gonna try and recontextualize Cowboy Bebop, which is a better idea than what they've been doing with a lot of the live action anime adaptations. Like personally, I feel like they butchered the Full Metal Alchemist one.
Shit was awful.
Oh God, so bad. And there's only been like 2 or 3 actually good live action anime adaptations, which I won't name because I don't want people to flame me, but I'll keep them close to my chest. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I might not watch it personally. I don't know, because my favorite like anime art style is that like early 2000s, 90s nostalgic. Like I love like the color palette of those shows, like the early Gundam Wing, Cowboy Bebop, even like Fullmetal Alchemist, the original run, which was 2003, but I let it slide. Like it still had like reminiscent of that art style. So like, I don't know. I think watching the live action, I'm just gonna feel dissatisfied.
Yeah, I get it. Like you said, I really appreciate the fact that they're kind of taking it in its own direction, because that's if you're gonna adapt something that's so iconic and means so much to so many people, and it's like honestly really foundational to a lot of Western audiences relationship with anime. Like I know so many people who like Cowboy Bebop was their first anime ever. Like and like it's one of mine, like maybe not the very first, but it's like one of the first that I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I get that, but I'm also like, I watched the trailer. They put out this like, it's called like the Lost Sessions a couple days ago, and like the whole thing, it's like way goofier and like campier and wackier than the whole show, the original show was in general. They're playing around with comic panels, and like they're throwing the barriers at each other, so like the screen's always changing, and
Oh
like,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
right, like okay, yeah. I thought that was a lot of fun, and it seems to me like it also might not be the whole show. They're being weird about like they're doing the Marvel thing where they're playing everything extremely close to the chest. So like nobody really knows what it's going to be about until we get a final trailer, or maybe until they drop. Cause I think by the time this episode comes out, it'll have been out for a couple weeks, but like, just know that from the past, ToBy and I are really interested to see how this turns out. Like or maybe I'm more interested than he is, but
I'm gonna watch from a distance. I'm gonna sniper's view this one, and then I'll engage if it gets like hype.
That's valid.
Bandwagon like that.
That's valid, honestly. I was talking to a bunch of homies about it a couple of days ago, and they all kind of people are skeptical, but there's also people who are pretty excited. I don't know. I'm just easy to please. I don't know, but either way, like it's just like it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna watch it at some point, and or if not, I'll just go listen to the soundtrack again and just go watch the show because I got the Blu-rays.
There you go. Yeah. It's also on Hulu, so
it is on Hulu, and I think it's coming to Netflix too. Because why wouldn't it be coming to Netflix? Because they're, Netflix rules the fucking world. So like let's take it all the way back to the beginning with you. Like what's the first movie experience you can remember having? Like it could be at the theater, your cousin's house, it could be at like the Best Buy, wandering around and stumbling on a TV. Like what's the first one that comes to mind?
I have like weird like flashes of memories of me at the movies. I remember seeing Toy Story in theaters. I don't know why. Like I just have like a memory of me being in a theater chair, really, really young, and Toy Story was playing. I also remember that for Lion King as well. It was like a theater experience with Lion King and Toy Story. And I think like my thoughts at the time weren't like fully formed, like I didn't have like an opinion of what I was seeing. But like as I got older, I can tell you films that kind of changed me and like made me appreciate movies a lot more.
That was going to be my next question, so yeah, please go for it.
I'll roll right into it. I was I was at my cousin's house, and this was back in the day. We were just bored. I think we were home alone, and he had Napoleon Dynamite for some reason.
Oh wow!
I've never seen this movie. I was pretty young. I would say I was pretty young, and we popped it in. My cousin is having the worst time. watching Napoleon Dynamite with me, and I'm sitting there like, because I'd never seen filmmaking like that. Filmmaking so like almost like disrespectful to form and like story structure and like
Yeah.
meaning. It was the most like existential movie I've ever seen. Like nothing mattered. Nothing that happens in Napoleon Dynamite matters. There's no
Yeah, not really.
no, not seriously. Like the stakes were, if they weren't low, they were weird. It was just like
Yeah.
so random, and everything about it was so off the page. Like it didn't feel like a movie to me. It felt like I was just like Napoleon. That's the first time I felt like the character was actually real. It's like there's no way someone's writing this for me to enjoy. I don't think they care if I enjoy it. I'm just watching Napoleon struggle through high school. But yeah, for whatever reason, that movie super impacted me. And I was just kind of obsessed, and I started like looking for like, it also like informed my sense of humor too. Like I was just like, oh man, like I love the left field. I love the weird, uncomfortable, awkward silence. Um when the kid kicks the tots in his
Yeah, this just explode like
I'm just like,
give me some of your tots.
why did that happen? Like I thought about it, like that sucks. He has to walk around with mashed potatoes in his pocket.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, that movie was pivotal. And then I've also seen Hot Rod like a million times, as we were talking about.
That's hilarious. But before we get to Hot Rod, I'm thinking because I haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite since it first came out, but I remember also being kind of obsessed with it at the time. I've been meaning to go back and watch it and see if it fucking holds up. But when I'm thinking about like specific scenes from it now, and like that, it was kind of like a cultural phenomenon in a way that like you can't really explain. It's really one of those you had to be there type of shit. So, like it's so weak, like the dance scene at the end at the fucking assembly when they're playing. That was also the first time I heard Jamiroquai. Like I heard Canned Heat, and that like I feel like that was a lot of people's introduction to Jamiroquai, and that kind of opened up a whole new fan base for them. But like you think about the movie, like you're talking about structure, you're so right, because it feels like 5 episodes of a TV. It feels like a pilot. Or like 5 ideas for a TV pilot smashed together, because you got the story of, you got Napoleon at school, you got Napoleon and Pedro doing their thing with the president shit, you got Uncle Rico and his shit going on, you got their friend whose name I can't remember, the girl, I feel so bad, but you got whatever her and Napoleon have going on. Right. You got Napoleon and his brother and his fiance, like wife.
Oh, Kip and LaFonda.
Right, LaFonda. Yeah. Just like you got all that. Like, there's just like it just feels like a bunch of non sequiturs just like smushed together into one thing that just so happens to involve all the same people. And like you're saying that, like I'm thinking about it now, and that might have been my first exposure to that type of storytelling too. Like and like regardless of how the movie holds up, because it's been like almost 20 years, like so that definitely played a role in like me appreciating that type of humor too, because I've been watching like I've been watching I Think You Should Leave, and like
I'm so glad. Yeah, I love that show.
Tim Robinson is a fucking genius, bro.
Did you see the house?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The whole second season is nuts. Like, because I was a big fan of the first season. I tried to show my girlfriend, and they were or my partner, and they weren't. They were like, this is whatever. And then we watched the second season, and they were like complete 180 shift. Like we both ran through the whole season in like a day, because you could do that. And like, and then we found him and Sam's why am I forgetting his name? The two of them created Detroiters, so we ran through all of Detroiters on Paramount Plus, and that show's great too. And like they both have the same type of humor.
I gotta get, because I like that actor. I'm blanking on his name too, but it's definitely Sam something.
Sam. Nah, I gotta look it up. I'm not doing Sam Richardson. Yeah, I don't want to do him dirty. Shout out to Sam Richardson. He's fucking hilarious. But yeah, no, Napoleon Dynamite. Like I said, like I've been meaning to run it back and see if it holds up. But like really weird, like foundational, like iconic movie. It's so strange to think about. Like that was like a huge thing. Like the dance was a big deal. Like the song was a big deal. Like the character was like. And then what's his name? What's the actor's name who played him? John Heater, I think, right?
Yeah, it's John Heater. It's John
Yeah,
Heater.
And then he made like 2 romantic comedies, and then like it was revealed that he was like a conservative Christian or something, and then he just fell off the face of the earth. Haven't heard from him in a decade. No idea what he's doing.
Happens.
But yeah, it does happen. But Hot Rod is a movie that I like, but I didn't really spend a lot of time with. Like I watched it once and was like, this is cool, and then left it behind. So like, what about Hot Rod? What did it for you with fucking Mr. Andy Samberg?
I'll tell you. One, I'm Andy Samberg's number 1 fan. Funny enough, I got to be an extra on his set for Bash Brothers. That was on.
That's fun. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm in the scene in the like parking lot where he like comes out. I have a funny ass story. Okay, sorry.
Tell me. Tell me.
I need to say this. Put this out into the ether. When we were shooting that scene in the parking lot, I'm not going to throw my friend under the bus because I was not hired to be there. I was just asked to show up as a friend. But when we were shooting that scene in the parking lot, he had his costume change where he comes out and he's like in a flowing robe and it's like, what is the world? Blah, 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 blah. Before the cameras started rolling, they had all of us like extend our hands out to him for like that like motif for that like tableau. And I said, I didn't think he'd hear me, but I said, damn, this nigga looked like Jesus. And he started up. And they had to like wait to shoot the scene so he could stop laughing. And I felt bad because I like held up production. But I hold that moment close to my heart because I could never thought in a million years I would make Andy Samberg laugh. But yeah, biggest Andy Samberg fan. Hot Rod was just like, it had some of that Napoleon Dynamite quirky randomness, but it also had like a lot of like heart. And like it was just like, I watched it with my good friends. Like my best friend, actually one of the producers for the album, he's on like 4 tracks. He's been my best friend for over 10 years. That was our movie. Yeah. Like the ties, the bonds that we just made over Hot Rod. It was down to the, like we could quote it. We watched it so many times. And it was just like really like heartwarming, but like super, super funny. I love comedy. I love making people laugh. I love humor, and just like this like story of like, I mean, you know, call a spade, a loser. Like he says he wants to do something and be somebody, and he's just like not that. Like he's just like kind of failing like upwards though, but like he has so much heart and so much drive and so much determination and so much like you can't tell him no, that he actually ends up kind of doing it. He still kind of fails, but like he gets what he wanted, which is like the status of a stuntman. He has a whole crowd of people watching him perform this stunt. He's got the getup, the threads, the bike. Like it's a cool come up story that's not super like, you know, clean cut and polished. Like it doesn't end with him like, all right, and he like performs at Coachella or whatever. Like it's just like, it's like a hometown like hero thing. I don't know. I really resonated with that especially as an artist, because you know that's kind of how a lot of us feel like every fucking day, man. Like, is it just like, am I who I think I am, or am I who people are telling me I am? You know, the people who don't believe that that's gonna happen. Like, who's right here? But yeah, Hot Rod, primo movie. One of my few 10 out of 10s.
Yeah, that's a fact. Like honestly, like all that stuff you said about the artists and everything, like it's like yeah, and I like the movie is a lot of fun too. And I'm also like I'm not the hugest Andy Samberg fan, but I like him when he's great. Like like if you've seen Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that like I think I feel about Pop Star the way you feel about Hot Rod. Like not in the sense that I could like quote the whole movie, but like that really just like it just hit me. Like just like the way that he managed to like like poke so much fun at Justin Bieber, but
Oh,
also like kind of get to the heart of the whole like like developmentally arrested fucking like early pop star kid thing. It just worked, you know, like, and like Andy Samberg is so good at like bridging that gap between these like white developmentally arrested dudes who like fail upward, because like that's basically what pop star is too. It's just in a different context, and it's a lot bigger, and they and you know, like you know, but for anybody listening, like it's done up like a documentary, like the Justin Bieber Belieber documentary. Like yeah, like it's shot like a documentary, kind of like Office style, but also a little more glitzy and glamour. It's just so much fun, and I feel like nobody talks about it as much as they should. Like it didn't make a lot of money when it came out, and it didn't like splash the way they expected it to, but it's like a good ass movie. Like
I think it got scrubbed, Dylan. Like honestly, I'm so glad you said pop star, because I wholeheartedly believe that someone from either Justin's team or any of the people like involved in the movie, maybe they didn't know what was going on, scrubbed it, because it's super hard to find, and it had like a week in theaters. Like
yeah,
and it went, and you wouldn't have known if you weren't like kind of up on the Andy Samberg cinematic universe, if you can call it that. Because I
right.
don't know, it went away. It went away. I talk about pop star and people have no idea what I'm saying, because like it got pulled or something. Like it's hard
Right.
to
And it's on no streaming service. You have to
find.
buy it. Like you have to buy it on like whatever thing you buy movies on. Like it's the last time I remember a movie coming and going from theaters so fast was when Undercover Brother came out, and that shit was in theaters for like 6 days and then left. And I was like, what? Like, and then I watched it years later. Me and my sister watched it on Stars. And I was like, this is the funniest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know?
I thought that was weird as hell. I thought that was really weird, especially because like the success that Hot Rod had. Like people, like, I mean, I'm not the only one. A lot of people
Oh,
really
no.
like Hot Rod. So I would imagine. Plus, they had like Nas in it, DJ Khaled. Like that was expensive. I feel like they would have wanted to make their money back. I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
That's a fact. I have no idea. But like, honest, like, but nah, like, if Bieber's team is listening, we see you. You did something. You know what you did. We like know half of what you did, but you know what you did. You know what you did.
Yeah. And also, I'll add to that, if Bieber's team is watching, I'm available for collaborations and features. I songwrite as well. So if you're watching, you know.
we gotta sub you in for Daniel Caesar, bro. We gotta make that happen.
Man, he's got a vice grip on the community.
Yeah, he does. Shout out to him prospering somehow.
Can I say something a little controversial?
Yeah, tell me.
How many times have we seen like a white celebrity say some goofy shit and still cook? Like, are we not allowed a Daniel Caesar? Are we not allowed like one dude who's just like really, really, really misinformed, but like gets to land on his feet? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm totally open to being wrong. I think what he said was super offensive, and I think what he said was awful. But I also don't think he killed anybody, is my thing. So it's like he's gonna keep making money whether we want him to or not. So
yeah, I was gonna say the one person who was doing that for years was R. Kelly, and he's
Oh no, he
on
had to leave.
he's on suicide watch in jail now, where he should be forever.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. You know what it was? It should have never been R. Kelly.
yeah,
That's the thing. Why did we give it to him? He was hurting people, like
Yeah.
actively. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Nah, but yeah, it's like, you know, like I don't really think about Daniel Caesar very much. Like it's like, you know, like, I'm not like actively offended whenever anybody brings him up. It's just always, I just always think like, yeah, he said that stupid shit that one time, and
Yep.
I'm gonna say something that I'm gonna say something that also might be controversial. Was never really a fan of his music. Like, he's fine. I think his stuff is cool, but like Freudian came out, and I was like, okay, you know, like people are head over heels in love with that album, and I'm like, it's cool.
I thought the
Like,
second one was tighter.
I don't remember the second one. Like, he's he's someone that never really like impacted me the way he impacted everyone. Like,
That's fair.
like I don't know. Like, it isn't even to say that he's bad. I just,
It wasn't
you know,
your cup of tea. No, I totally get that.
yeah,
I totally get that.
know.
I mean, was he? I can't even name him as an inspiration for myself. I do have my favorite songs of his.
Best Part is lovely, you know. Like, I get it. Like, I get it.
Japanese Denim. I'm a big fan of. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't. This is gonna sound fucked up, and I hope he never hears this, because this means I don't miss it. You know, like, I'm not like, damn, where's that new Daniel Caesar? Like, I'm not like beating myself up over it.
Right.
So there's that.
But, you know, he's got millions of dollars and tons of fans, and people are still getting engaged at his shows. Like,
Yeah.
that's like a thing that, like, you remember that? Like, that was a thing that happened. Like, he would play Best Part, and people would propose in the middle of a mosh pit.
Yeah.
Like, imagine proposing to somebody in the middle of a mosh pit. That's crazy. I mean, that sounds pretty fucking hard. I'm not gonna lie, but like,
I feel like whoever I do that with would just be mad at me. It's like, you couldn't have picked anywhere else.
Will you marry me?
So
flying elbow to the face. Like, nah.
And you're on the jumbotron.
Yeah. You just, yo, before we move on, real quick. My partner and I went to a fucking haunted house last weekend, and we were coming out and sitting on the thing to go onto the hayride that they usually have at these. So like, we're watching people come out of the place we were just at, and there's this couple, and they get chased by the dude with the chainsaw who chases you out, and my man fucking elbowed his fucking girlfriend in the face when he came out. He went whoop. It wasn't like extra hard, but it was like enough for me to be like, he just elbowed her in the, like, I started dying. Like, I gotta bury my face in Desiree's shoulder. Like, fuck. Like, it was that's the funniest thing I've seen maybe all year. Like, top 3 funniest moments of the year. Like, holy shit. What?
You think they're still together?
Probably. I don't know. I mean, like, that's I mean, if you are, that's real love. Like, if you're together, that's like nothing's gonna tear you apart. Like, nothing will tear you.
We could loop this back into a movie. Did you ever see that Will Ferrell flick? I actually talked about it on the Cabbages podcast. Shout out to Gary. Gary, we love you, baby. I forget the name, but it's Will Ferrell and JLD, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And they're basically like recreating that one news story about how this dad left his whole family in the middle of an avalanche at a ski resort. Like, it was like a video.
Oh, it's a drama, and it came out like last year. I didn't see it, but because it's a remake of a movie from, I think, like Sweden or some shit. I never saw it, but yeah.
If it's a remake of a movie, I was horribly misinformed because I thought that shit was real. But that movie explores, because it's less about that moment. Like, that's not even like the climax or anything that happens like in the first like 5 minutes. That movie explores the after. And if that guy had to deal with anything Will Ferrell had to deal with, man,
Oh, also the movie is called Downhill, by the way. I heard it was really good, never got to catch it, but yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's good. It explores a lot about like just like who you are in a relationship, really, and then like what you value, and like especially as like time goes on, because they're like they're an older married couple, they've got kids and whatnot, but like that happens and it kind of shakes the foundation a bit, and they're just like, what does this mean? Like, do we love each other? It was it an instinct? Was it like this, that, and the third? But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty nuanced.
Yeah, I want to check it. It looks like something I'd appreciate, like that, like middle ground of drama and comedy is always fun. Hard to maintain that balance, but like fun to watch if it's done good, and that sounds like it's good.
Yeah, it was great. I'd say sorry, just because I want to talk
no.
If it's cool. It is maybe like a softer version of Adam Sandler's plot in Men, Women, and Children by Jason Reitman.
Okay.
Have you seen that one? Because
I have, actually, yeah.
Love that movie so much. I love that movie so much. That's like a heartstrings movie for me. No, it really is. And like the Bibio soundtrack, like that movie was Impact, the essence of Impact, just because like the way they like, I don't know, like microscoped into these different, it felt kind of like Ken Parkian a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
A little Ken Parkian, obviously not as Ken Park as Ken Park, but like
nothing is as Ken Park as Ken Park.
That movie ruined me. I don't know if I could see it again. I saw that movie once with like my homies in like a hotel, and I was like, hey man, you don't get to pick the movies anymore.
Yeah, nah, that's like, yeah, you that's a one and done. Like every Larry Clark movie except for maybe Kids. But even Kids, honestly, like you can watch those once.
I can stomach Kids. I can rewatch Kids. I can't rewatch Ken Park.
Yeah, not Ken Park, not Bully, not Larry Clark only made a handful of movies, and then Harmony Korine kind of took the reins and made his own.
Yeah.
But excuse me, but yeah, Men, Women, and Children, very wild movie. I get it.
Yeah.
So real quick, let's hop over to music. Like, you know, like you kind of built a palette for film as you were growing up, but like, when did you first fall in love with music?
Oh man, I mean, the love was always there, even if it was latent. My grandmas used to sing all the time in the house, just like as babies, like as I was baby. And I took piano lessons as a kid. I hated it. You know, I just didn't like playing piano. I didn't choose it either. Then as I grew up, I never saw myself as a vocalist. I especially not a singer. Like if I could go back 10 years to like, no, 10 years, I'd be 18 and I'd already be rapping. If I could go back like 20 years, 15 years, something like that, and be like, hey, you're going to be a singer, I wouldn't believe it. But yeah. I mean, it really kicked into high gear high school. That's when I made the conscious decision, because I had a crush on this girl back in middle school, and I was like, I used to learn metro station songs on the piano. No, dude, it's bad. I used to learn metro station songs on the piano, and I would call her, because that's the only way you could talk to people back then. You don't have like IMs or whatever. And I would call her and I would play the song on piano for her.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, dude. I was Draken before Drake was Drake, man.
Oh man.
I was a card carrying member of the Loverboy Society.
Oh man, it was ToBy's room, son. Forget Marvin's room. We were in ToBy's room. No.
It was done. And it was one of those, and what's worse is it was one of those unrequited crushes. So she'd be like, okay, cool, and then hang up.
Oh Yeah, I feel it. Those are the worst.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was development. I needed
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. Of course. Nah.
But yeah, I was doing, shit like that as a youth dem. And then in high school, my friend wanted to start a band, so he told me to buy a drum set. I bought a drum set. He ended up making a band with other people, so I was just there ass out with my drum set. I
Damn.
made I I made my own band. We played for a bit. We broke up, and then I just started rapping. Like I think the first thing I did was like write a diss song to some kid at a different school, and we went back and forth. And that's when I discovered like, oh, like the piano and the drums and like my appreciation for like the English language and like literature and poetry and whatnot. Like, yeah, this makes sense. It's music, rhythm, and rhyme. I should just be a rapper. I'll be a rapper. And then I never looked back.
Beautiful. Have you been listening to rap before you officially started to do it yourself, or was it a thing that just kind of like happened and you came across it?
I had like a 4-month crash course in hip hop before I picked up the pen.
Mm.
Because and you can hear it on the album. I was big into alt rock and indie rock. Like
Yep.
I was jamming out. My favorite band to this day is still the Killers.
Good choice.
Yeah,
I like the
I
Killers too.
love the Killers, and I love the Killers for their B-sides, not like necessarily their big songs are obviously like great and well written, but like I love their like album filler material, and I listened to that till the cows came home. I loved indie rock, loved alt rock. My dad had a really interesting sense of music. He was playing like Tears for Fears at home. He played ABBA a lot. He really liked ABBA.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
my parents liked ABBA too. Is it ABBA or ABBA? I don't know how it's
I
pronounced.
say ABBA.
Okay.
I say ABBA, but I'm not 1,000. I say ABBA until someone corrects me.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was just like a lot of, and then obviously like Caribbean music. We played a lot of zouk, compa, because we're Haitian at the crib. So we
Right. I was about to ask. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of island rhythms. And also French stuff too. Edith Piaf, Jacques Brel. It's just like a weird gumbo of sound. So like when I found hip hop, because I used to not like it, I had like a dumb little kid opinion about it. But when I found stuff that I really liked, I downloaded. I like Mr. Robot, like, oh, who's Kanye West?
Right. Yeah. You had that Pirate Bay moment where you just
Yeah.
grabbed. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I did at one point. I just started grabbing discographies. Like when I found Pirate Bay, I just grabbed like I've been listening to rap since I was like 8 or 9. But like, but like when the internet happened and LimeWire and Pirate Bay were a thing, I was just grabbing everything I could. But like, what were you gravitating towards? Like, what really grabbed you during that 4-month crash course?
For sure. I mean, I got to shout him out by name. Big Patrick. He is my best friend. But at the time he was also my best friend. And he had a really, really, thank God for this, like deep sense of hip hop already when I met him. We were like freshmen. So he was just like, oh, if you like this, you'll like this. If you like this, you like this. If you'll like this, you'll like this. I was bumping Doom, MF Doom. Yeah, heavy MF Doom, Most Def. I'm
wearing the Doom shirt right now.
Let's go. I have Dr. Doom coffee in my kitchen.
Crazy.
Yeah. R.I.P. to a great. Bro, that shit crushed me.
Yeah,
that
me
shit
too.
crushed me.
My favorite rapper ever. So sad.
So like he made the nigga you're talking to right now. But yeah, MF Doom, Most Def, Black Alicious, shout out Gift of Gab.
Yeah. R.I.P. to Gift of Gab too. Like holy shit.
I know, dude. We getting old. I don't like it. I don't like this time moving forward thing. And I mean, basic early Kanye, Jay-Z became my favorite rapper, just as he tends to do.
Right.
And then I would mix that with like stuff that was kind of coming out at the time. I was listening to Mac Miller, R.I.P.,
Wow, man.
It's exasperating. I hate that all these wonderful, wonderful people are losing their lives. But Mac Miller, I was an early Tyler fan. I was a
Same.
2013 Tyler fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to be proud to admit that, but I was saying, kill people, burn shit, fuck
Shit, fuck
school.
school. Yeah, same here.
I
Nah.
was saying it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I remember exactly where I was when I first heard my first time I heard Tyler was on Martians versus Goblins on the games album. And
oh,
then I heard Yonkers, and then I was like, yeah, I'm in. I've been like I feel it. I've been here since like whenever Goblin came out. I think that was 2011. Yeah, it was 2011 because it just turned 10 this year. So yeah, I've been here since 2011, so I feel you. Like
so
it's
um,
challenging being an early Tyler fan, but you know.
you know what it is? We had to go through that mud to come out as clean as we are. Because here's the thing, a lot of people don't realize, like, you need time as a kid to kind of be awful so that it's not okay to be awful when you're older. I feel like a lot of people who are like fucking up, like, for whatever reason, they just never they lack the understanding of ramifications, like consequence. That never crosses their mind.
Mm.
They've never had to sit with their thoughts. They've never had to sit with the effect of their causes. So as an early Tyler fan, doing all that shit, saying all that shit, going to the shows, hitting people, I can reflect back at 28 and be like, hey man, that wasn't cool. That wasn't cool. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it.
Those were some those early OF shows were a lot. Like
what?
they like once again talking about my sister. I took my sister to go see Tyler and them at in Connecticut in Wallingford at the theater at the theater in Oakdale, I think it is. And like at the end of the show, Tyler got into a fight with somebody and they like threw each other into the snack stand and like knocked over the nacho machine. And like everybody was just like, Tyler, it was crazy. It was crazy shit.
It was some real rebel youth shit, which I think, honestly, I'll say this, for as bad as it was history. I'm glad I lived through it.
Same, honestly. Like, like I'll say that I had a lot of problems reconciling some of the things that Tyler said even in those early days. Like I kind of fought back against a lot of it, but like I was still listening and appreciating it for what it was, because like OF really had something special, and like look where they all are now. Like they're not together anymore, but like Tyler put out an incredible album, is about to go on his second stadium tour. Like Earl Tebe's doing his thing. He's one of my favorite rappers ever now. Like Sid's got the internet going, and the internet's amazing. Damo is still putting out joints. I think Haji has something coming soon. Left Brain pops up every once in a while. Like Matt Martians is once again the internet. Like, like we really did witness his like that was history. Like people a little younger than us are going to be looking at OF the way that we looked at like Bad Boy and like early 2000s shit that we weren't really like old enough to appreciate. But they're gonna like that. They're gonna like and appreciate that shit the way that we appreciated the slightly older than us shit that we didn't fully get. Like that's just how the cycle goes. And I'm also happy we got to live that history, because that was a time. Like
and we have those badges, like we can like, you have that anecdote of the concert in Connecticut, and I have however many Tyler shows I've seen, from back in the day. So yeah, I mean, definitely close to my heart. I forgot what the question was.
Oh yeah, it was just like what else was in your like crash course for rap.
So definitely OF. And I mean, I just kept listening to more indie rock as it came out. Like, I can't believe I didn't even mention this. He's in all my other interviews, but I'm a my manager's gonna hate that I said this. I'm a self-convinced Donald Glover clone, like test tube Donald Glover test tube baby.
Oh my God.
So Bino, I gravitated to Bino kind of early, which my friend Patrick, he was not a big, I don't think he even still is a big Gambino fan, but
Yeah.
my North Star creatively. But I gravitated to him so early because he had these duo of mixtapes, EPs, where he would rap over indie songs.
Oh yeah, I remember
I'm
those.
not a rapper, or I'm just a rapper.
Yeah. I'm just a rapper.
So I was like, you can do this and be black? Like, you could do this?
Right.
And then obviously the community shit, the Derek comedy shit, I was hooked. So Childish Gambino and his sound. And that's how I found Tyler, because he reposted Yonkers on his
Okay.
blog
Yeah.
I frequented.
Nah, I definitely had a Beano phase too. I came in around Sick Boy and Poindexter, and like those are not good projects. They're not like there's songs that I really love, but they're not good projects. Like I don't really think he found himself as a rapper until Cul-de-sac, honestly. Like I like the I'm Just a Rapper tapes, especially that first song. I forget which song it's he rapped over, but like I love that. I'll send it to you later. But
might be Grizzly Bear. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the Grizzly Bear joint. But yeah, like he didn't really find himself as a rapper until Cul-de-sac, and even then there was like between that and Camp there was, but like I was, I'm also an early Donald fan. Like I think really I started to be like, oh, he could actually like do this for real around Royalty. That was when I was like, yeah, all right, like okay, he's not playing. Okay, cool.
That's I mean, I always wanted him to win, so like it came as no surprise. But that Royalty mixtape was a moment. It was a pivotal moment, I think, for his career.
Yeah, We Not Them, and the fucking song with the Beck sample.
Yeah.
Those two, I was like, yeah, okay, like this is because like I really love EP where Freaks and Geeks came from too, and like it kind of gave me like that's where I was like, wow, EP was dope, and then Camp has highs and very 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 deep lows. But like then Royalty happened, BTI happened, and I was like, yeah, he's like BTI is one of my favorite albums of all time. I have a very deep personal connection to that album for a lot of reasons, but like I get it. Like I get it. I was early to that, and like that. That's a theme with Tyler and with Bino. Like growing pains. You kind of just like you have like you just put some things to the side and just try really hard to acknowledge and to like take in the good, and then they flower, and now we're here, and it's like, well, we paid our dues. We had those badges, we got those stripes, we paid our dues, and we're here. Type shit. Like
I definitely appreciate the model though, because it taught me as an artist on my early stuff to actually put out my early stuff, like to release music and to like drop it however I could. YouTube, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, like there were avenues. Like I could make a Tumblr and just like upload audio to Tumblr, which I did. And just like it just said, because I think back then, even though I liked the songs, I knew they weren't done or good, like it didn't sound good. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm working in a studio somehow by some random stroke of luck. That should be good enough. Let me put it out. Let me do that. So it's a lot of like gumption and a lot of like that drive and determination, that hot rod, like you're not an idiot, keep doing the thing, you know? So.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it goes back to what you were saying before, just about it's just like, it takes courage to put stuff out like that. And like, to what you were saying about just like growing and like, just having the courage to make mistakes and figure yourself out. And now you're here. and you have a debut album that you're calling your debut album that you're proud of. And like, that's, you know, like that takes work, you know, like not everybody has the fortune to just be able to like spring from a well, like fully formed on some like forged from X-Men shit. Like, you know, like sometimes that shit takes 10 years of work, you know. Like look at Danny Brown. Like Danny Brown, like he didn't pop until he was 30. I reference that all the time now. Like he had projects that were really good, but like people didn't pay attention until he was until he was like 30, you know. Like,
I mean it's there's no road, because I talk to a lot of younger artists and they ask me like how to do it, like I even know. But the one thing I stress is there is no paved road in this music shit. Like there's no like formula. You could do 1-to-1 like Ginyu Force copy some other artist's career. Like you could do that and it still won't work. Like there's no paved road in this shit. So the only choice you really have is just do it however you're gonna do it and see what the fuck happens. Because like speaking to Danny Brown, like his early shit was good. His early shit was really good. And it wasn't until XXX that it took off. And like you were saying, he was 30. So just throw the whole concept of age out and throw the whole concept of like this timer, this like artist deadline that people have for yourself. Like just throw it out, like make the thing and put the thing out and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again. Because that's what it's not going to change. You're going to get famous and what? You're going to stop making music? No, the process is the same.
Right. And, you know, you just keep getting better. Like, hopefully, exactly. like doing it over and over again doesn't always guarantee you're going to get better. But if it makes you feel good, fuck it. You know, like who cares?
Exactly. I see a lot of TikTok. You thought Clubhouse A&Rs were bad. Oh my God. TikTok A&Rs are worse. And I think it's because I can actually see them lying. There's a lot of TikTok A&Rs who are like, hey, if you don't have 1 million followers, just drop singles. All you got to do is drop singles and then drop singles until you drop another single. And then when you drop that single, then you can drop a single. And it's like, what the hell are you telling these kids, man? And I started commenting on some of them, but I just stopped because it's pointless. But like, can you imagine you're an artist with like a story to tell and you're like you need a narrative, you need a concept, you need more than one song to tell this story. And some like dude who has Interscope Records in his bio is telling you to go fuck yourself and just drop one, shake their ass to. Like that sucks. Like that really, really sucks. And it pisses me off because I think it kills creativity. It kills imagination, and it prioritizes the wrong thing.
Yeah, you know? which is just being visible, which isn't always the best thing you need to do. Like
not at all.
Like it's just about working on the shit until you're done with it, and then when it's done, put it out. You know,
yeah. I mean, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, you know, like you don't have to be like extra prolific. Like if anything, like doing that is only gonna water it down to the point where people don't care if it's not done right. Because there are plenty of people who are like super prolific and they manage to do all their shit, which is great, but that's not for everybody. Like it's really, really not. You know, like
absolutely.
Sometimes you just gotta let it boil.
Of course, it's statements like that like make me realize that there are some people who, I mean, they're definitely not artists, but they just don't have any sort of sense of art. Because if they think we're all just like here trying to like get famous or like trying to accomplish fame and success, which maybe some are. I'm not going to knock them. Maybe some are.
And that's all good. Like fame is fun. Like, you know, go for it.
I'm not going to knock it. Like, hell yeah. I want to go to Paris.
Right.
like tomorrow, that'd be cool. That'd be dope. But like,
yeah.
but like, it just makes me realize that they don't understand the innate need to create. Like, they don't understand the cursed muse that some of us carry with us, where we don't have a choice, where we wake up and we're like plagued by thought and innovation and creation. I like, it's kind of dark, but like creation's kind of poisonous to me a little bit. I love it. It's given me everything I have, but like, when you can't say no, when you wake up and you have like a song theme or like a bar or like a sound that won't leave you alone, like, and you
Or an
really,
idea. Yeah, I get it.
you have no choice. You have to
I
put
get
it
it.
out, and you have to put it out the way you have to put it out. So when you're telling kids who are struggling with that, maybe they're living at home, they don't have resources, maybe they have dreams, but they don't have like a means, and you're just telling them like, oh, just make singles. Like, let me tell you what's gonna work so you don't waste your time. Trust me. Like,
Yeah.
it's gross. It's gross. It's gross. That's my
Nah,
box moment.
I agree 100%. So like as you're growing up, you obviously have this very range, like you have this very varied musical palette, which I can relate to. I also grew up on a lot of the same shit you're talking about. Most of it, like like I guess just for context, like my father was he was in a doo-wop group back in the day. So like, and he's 76. So like his basis is very much like doo-wop, Motown, R&B, soul, gospel. Like I got a lot of that from him, and like dabbles of hip hop, because he was a grown man when hip hop started, but like he had his favorites, and he's like he still listens. Like he's 76 and he's still tapped in a pretty crazy way. Like he puts me on to shit, I put him on to shit. It's kind of beautiful. I love it. Shout out to my dad. I love you, Dad. And my mom, I also love my mom. I love you, Mom. She also had a lot of like a little more contemporary rap going on at the time. She was really into like LL Cool J in his Head Sprung era, and like Breathe, Stretch, Shake and all that shit. And my mom also loved like Aerosmith and Sting and like all that stuff. So I was getting like the classic rock and like contemporary easy listening rock. And I had a bunch of that coming from my parents. And I kind of found rap on my own when I was like, I found rap that I liked on my own when I was younger. So I kind of went into that rabbit hole. I was big into metal, really big into indie rock. I had a huge pop punk phase, which I feel like every suburban Black kid can relate to that. Like we all had our pop punk thing going on back in the day, like MCR and Fall Out Boy and AFI and Panic at the Disco. The list is endless. But like,
whistle on Black people recently, because I've been telling white people that we all love Paramore, and it blows their minds.
So like, what? Like, you like that? Like, yes. Like, what the fuck?
You know what it is? It's why Paramore, and it's like.
Like it's like Ishmael Butler said on the Shabazz Palace song. It's a feeling, like it's indescribable, but it's a feeling. Like Haley Williams
Haley Williams got soul. That's all it is.
She just gets us, man.
Really
blue-eyed pop punk soul. But so like you're building up this palette of like music and film as you get older and become a teenager and a young adult. So like during this time, was there ever a period of time where you connected rap and film together in your head in a way where you were like, these two things kind of like go together, or like inform each other in that way? Or like, it doesn't have to be rap. It could be any kind of music, but it could be whatever. Whatever kind of music. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I had always done so even when I started, because I was theater kid. I have a degree
right.
I have a bachelor's degree in theater performance. So like, yeah, I've always been really attuned to story structure, narrative, A plot, B plot, C plot, Hero of a Thousand Faces, blah, blah, blah. So when a lot of my favorite songs, a lot of my like, the shit that I gravitated to, tended to have those thematic elements, like those themes imbued in them. Like a lot of like shit, Illmatic, like the stories Nas is telling on those what's the one where represent off of Illmatic. He's just like a day in the life of Nas. That's a movie.
Yeah, that's a movie. Facts.
That's a whole film. So I could recognize very, very early on that those things were priorities for the artists writing them. In terms of my own music, I mean, it took a while to get down just because I was finding myself creatively and I was, honing in on my sound. I was learning how to sing. I was like, being ToBy in that I was doing literally everything in the world at the same time. So self-control. But where this album's concerned, there's definitely a narrative, there's definitely a through line, there's definitely it's kind of Tarantino-esque where it starts a little further ahead, then jumps back and gives context and then plays through and then maybe skips ahead. There's like an epilogue. There's even my late grandmother narrating the album, like that was like a filmic, like decision I wanted to make for the album. It's pretty concept. It's pretty scripted. You were talking about BTI earlier. That's probably my favorite album in the world. And more so than just the music itself, but the accompanying screenplay. I think the choice to drop a screenplay, not even like a move, like because he could have shot something. He could have shot a short film or something, but no,
he did.
Yeah, he did. Clapping for the Wrong Reasons, which was awesome and pivotal.
I love that shit too.
I have a funny story about that, but I'll tell you after because I wanna keep it focused. Yeah. He the screenplay. I was so in love with the story of that screenplay and how like sad it was and funny it was and realized it was and like the fact that he even decided to do it, like knowing that like only a core group of people would really, really appreciate something like that choice really stuck with me. So it kind of made me feel like, okay, depending on your resources, you've got to keep that in mind, and you got to understand that the people who listen to you and the people who love what you're going to do are not always going to be the same, but you have to feed them both.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And that's really hard to do in a way that doesn't feel like super forced or corny. Cause I remember, of course, like we were there when BTI came out and the rollout was happening, and like, just to do the little, he made it a whole experience. There was like a whole multimedia aspect behind it with a website that had the screenplay and then the videos you could play in the middle of the different blocking of the scenes and everything. And like, it was like, I was in college at the time. So like, it was like, I was like about to graduate, and that was like, it wasn't like a head bust moment or anything like that, but it was just really cool to see someone see an idea like that through to the end. Like, even if it wasn't perfect, like I really love the movie. I love the screenplay. I love the album. And like, I wrote about that album in my college, in my senior thesis. So like, it was just, that really connected with me too. And I think that's a really great example of those two things coming together. That's not really, I think you're the first person who I think, oh man, please forgive me if somebody else did this before me, but I think you're at the very least one of the first people to mention Because the Internet as like that filmic experience, because that's what it means to me too. So like, yeah, shout out to that. That's tight.
Your mentions are gonna blow us. Dylan, I told you 2 weeks ago.
Someone's gonna yell at me, and I deserve it. But either way, like fuck it. Like it's good shit. The album's almost a decade old, so it's about time to start looking at it with those eyes anyway. So
I'm surprised no one shot it yet. I might just do that myself.
Shot what?
Like the screenplay, like actually realize.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Weird? Yeah, it is weird. And like, because like there's like little bits and pieces that he shot for the little multimedia thing, like especially like with the boy in the house. And I think there's like one where he winds up just getting shot and killed at the end.
Yeah,
But
yeah. For the Yaphet Kotto video, yeah.
right, yeah. So like nobody just like made the whole thing front to back, or at least we haven't seen it. Maybe somebody did, and it just like exists on a YouTube page somewhere. But like like
yeah,
right. But like either way, like fuck it, like that would be a cool thing for the 10th anniversary if somebody were to just like make the film. That'd be fun. I don't know.
Awesome.
So okay, so you're getting older and you officially are like, I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna really make a go of this shit. And I want to focus on the ToBy season projects a little bit because
sure.
like especially considering the contrast between the tone and variety of genres you go for on L'Esprit, like like what like when you made the ToBy season projects, like what was going on in your head when you were like, I want to do this is what it's going to be about? And obviously it's much more rap oriented than your later stuff was, so like what inspired you to start there?
Sure.
I guess is the question.
Oh, of course. So the ToBy season projects came together kind of when I, touched road upon LA. I'm talking in patois because I know my friend Raquel is going to hear this, and she's a phenomenal Jamaican rapper, and she hates when I do it. So this is just to piss her off. But yeah, when I first moved to LA, I was living with the producer, Alex Vinter. He has many monikers. His most famous one is Savant, which does like EDM, dubstep, etc. But his hip hop producer moniker, Data Crash, was just dedicated to making my sound and like feeding me different like things. Like, you ever play Sonic Adventure 2 Battle?
Of course, yeah.
You remember the Chow Garden?
Yeah, I literally just referenced the Chow Garden in conversation yesterday. Like, that's crazy.
So you're gonna get this. I would say like every beat that Data Crash would give me, because we'd work every day, and he was the type of person to like act, like he made me exercise, not like physically, but like as a writer. He'd say, I'm gonna start a beat. Your song needs to be done before my beat is. And he is crazy fast. Like the one thing about him is like he's damn near on the developer team for FL Studios because he knows how to do everything. Like it's wild. It's very scary to watch. So he was like making sure I was working out that way. And every beat he would feed me would like influence the chow I'd be that day, like some of the more darker stuff on volume 1, difficult, blanking shooters, shit like that. Like I had to like be that character and write as that character and like pen up, Yeah. And then some of the more poppy stuff, he's really into pop. I was, dipping my toe in it, and I really wanted to like explore if I had that capability and sound. I think my biggest takeaway from it is just like, oh, sing more. Like you never thought you had a good voice. You never thought like you could pull it off, but just like work at it and sing more because you love to do it and people are telling you that they like hearing it. So do away with that insecurity. And yeah, I guess to summarize, ToBy season 1 and ToBy season Genesis were just like the gym for me. Like those were projects where you saw me working out, branching out, stretching, flexing, and doing what I could to establish different elements and areas of my sound. I'll admit maybe not all of them work, but I'm definitely proud of both projects because I think I wouldn't have been able to make L'Esprit if I hadn't done the ToBy seasons. And I think they're great projects. I listen to them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like I get it because you know, like that, like they both definitely have that like mixtape quality to them, just in terms of like you pushing your limits, and like that really seems to be like obviously not every mixtape is like that. Some people like to treat mixtapes like albums and do all the crazy conceptual, weighty, like important shit, whatever important means, you know. But like, but like, but like that's why I gravitated to mixtapes while I was growing up because they felt loose and they felt just like just people on a mic just wanted to have some fun and just like test out their limits, the limits of the written word, the limit of beat production, like whatever the fuck, like just snap and go crazy type
Hell
shit.
yeah.
And like that's what those early projects feel like to me. Like they feel fun, you know, like it's some of them, you know, some of the songs like you mentioned, they do get kind of dark, but like it's never not like it's never not fun. It's not like dour or like
Right.
depressing. Not that there's anything wrong with dour or depressing music, but it's just like they just like they feel they they just feel really fluid in that way.
Of course. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I like that a ton.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
Toby seasons are fun. I think the stark difference between those and the spree would be the reasons behind them. You know, the spree was written. That was the first time I actually really felt like, oh shit, I have an opportunity to not only process something personal that I'm dealing with, but also like impact and like put on record and state my story in a way that could really help, you know? Like I felt purposed writing L'Esprit. Like it was a lot more the stakes were higher, the not even just with it being an album and the recent like label signing and whatnot, but like it just like felt like I need to do this for me. Like I need this to be okay. Um like in order to be okay, not for it to be okay, but like in order for me to be okay or feel okay or to grieve and to mourn and to process, but also like look at myself for the first time really and like call myself out on a bunch of shit. Um, like I needed to do that. Like there was an implicit need there with L'Esprit. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, you could hear it in the material. You could hear. I did my best to not make it sound like desperate, but I was definitely going for like honest and vulnerable. I'd never vulnerable. One thing in ToBy season volume 1 and ToBy season Genesis, I wish I did more was vulnerability. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the songs are really fun and they're great songs. I can't say I'm being the most open on them, which I think is fine. You know, I'm gonna make a million
Yeah.
songs in my lifetime.
You know.
But with L'Esprit, like I'm I'm straight up just being an asshole on Boyfriend, like, and that's true, like,
Yeah.
or was true, but like that's real, like it's honest and it's open and it's who I was and it's what I did and it's and on Ghost, like there's like I'm like kind of broken and just like really like I'm not performing. There's no performance on the spree, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you mean by that. And like, yeah, like honest and open are definitely things words I would use to describe this album. Like just like between, you know, like just like the juxtaposition between songs like Boyfriend and Too Fucking Cocky, you know, like just like and then like going even broader, of course, is the combination of rap and indie rock and even like folk music kind of like I get some like hints of folk, especially near the end here. Like there's just like I think that's also incredibly honest because you know just hearing how you grew up with music, like that's honest to you. Like this is stuff, you know, like this isn't just this is all stuff you like and it's stuff that you've always liked.
Yeah.
And this is you really making a go of like, hey, I want to, hey, I love rap, I love indie rock, I love folk music, I love whatever other sounds are on here, and like I'm gonna do this for the first time. And I get what you mean when you say you did this for you, because this is you, you know, like this is like a like all music is a distillation of the people who make it, but like this is like the purest, like this is me, you know, like this is like I imagine if your 14, 15-year-old self heard this album and you made it, regardless of whether or not you sang on it, they'd be like, wow, like I did that shit. Like it's weird that I'm doing this, but like that sounds like me. Like, yeah, cool. I accept that. Maybe, you know, I don't want to speak for you or your younger self, but
you wouldn't be wrong. You wouldn't be wrong.
Like like I'd imagine young ToBy would be proud to hear just how holistic all of this sounds with all these different, because like so many people like Trippie Redd is always my favorite example of this. Like he's someone who loves every kind of music ever,
yeah,
but none of his projects hold together like the way like something like this does. Like you can have all these sounds and be varied if you want, but it's just like splashing multicolored paint on a wall, and like that's cool if that's what you're into, but like this feels more focused. There's like an intent behind this that feels genuine to you type shit. Like that's, you know, like that's like and like especially I assume the woman speaking on the interludes is your grandmother. You said that before, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I didn't realize she was no longer with us. So, you know, my condolences for that. But like just you know, like that, like, and like that ties everything together, and just like it just feels like an honest statement of a record, especially when you compare it to the ToBy season projects. Like this is just like this is you, and that's dope. You know, like it's always dope to see people kind of just give themselves to the art in that way. So
yeah, that's really, really nice, Dylan. I appreciate those words so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I think setting out the one thing I wanted to do, or the one thing I kept saying in a lot of the sessions to my engineers and stuff, because thank God bless them for trusting any of my weird ass ideas. God bless them. But the one thing I kept saying was like, I want to see somebody else try and make this. Like, honestly, like I want to see somebody else do like a Weird Al, you know, to the T recreation of this album, because it's I'm not saying I'm the only one who could have done it, but I kind of, to my knowledge, am the only one who did a little bit way, like with all of the different ingredients and very specific choices. But I think again that came from the intent. Like it all of my choices, all of my decisions were informed by the very strong like purpose that I had going in, and that's why it came out the way it did.
Right. Yeah, and you know, like that really comes through, and it feels like like once again hearing your story and seeing and like kind of inputting the story into like my initial reception of the joint was like, it's really interesting that you kind of put this out at a time where rap is kind of having this relationship with pop punk and indie rock that like the relationship has been a thing for at least, you know, 15, maybe even 20 years at this point. But like, it's like the pendulum has kind of swung back in that direction. And, you know, this, like we said, this is something that these are two things you've always loved in this way. And is like, I guess I was just wondering, like, how does it feel to put out this album at this particular time where people are kind of clamoring for something like this? Like, I know it wasn't like, I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it's just like interesting to see. It's just interesting to see time line up like that. So like, how does it feel to have a project out at a moment like this when people are looking for stuff like this?
Well, I mean, I feel like the answer is going to be the same as how does it feel to have an album out, period. It's weird. I'm still getting used to it, but it's dope. It's really, really cool. And I think the welcoming that the album's gotten has been really reassuring, you know? I think you're right. I think if I tried to execute something like this, uh, maybe like a SoundCloud generation ago, it might not have hit, it might not have worked, or if it did, it would have worked much later now when I would be on some totally different shit.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's serendipitous timing. It's definitely just, you know, again, you're right. I didn't really have that in mind. I was just trying to make an album to survive, you know, the pandemic shit and losing my grandma.
Right.
But I think I got lucky. I got lucky that it came out in a time where people are a lot more open to genre blending and variety.
Yeah, it's been a really crazy journey just to see the pendulum come back on the genre blending, because like once again, like rap is no stranger to that. It's not like it just started 5 years ago, but you know, like every generation and every cycle is different. So like, you know, like especially in a world where like Young Thug could put out an album like Punk and the shit is like not punk at all, like not even a little. But you know, that also might be the point. I have no idea. I don't want to read too much into it. I like the album, but like just this is just like a really interesting time for rap music right now. Just like people are feeling like both at the lower, or not lower, but like at like just at every point of the spectrum of rap right now, people are feeling more willing and more open to experiment and more open to just hear different stuff from different people. And it's just cool to see. It's cool to see someone who really came up in all this stuff kind of find a place in that. And I guess like the very last question I have for you, like about L'Esprit in particular, is like, you've been dropping tapes and singles for years, and this is a very personal statement for you, like this album in particular. So, like, what do you feel that L'Esprit says about ToBy the artist that all your previous projects haven't?
I think L'Esprit encapsulates ToBy for the first time as a human being and not just a character. I think it was definitely a funnel for a real person's pain and self-reflection and hope. And I think it ultimately designed itself to be a sort of beacon for others who have a tendency to be really down on themselves. I think if anything, and I've made it super difficult putting so much of it in French, but if anything, I hope someone listens to what I'm saying, but also listens to what my grandma is saying, and using those two, albeit conflicting, I'll call it juxtapositional voices,
Yeah.
and arriving at the conclusion that, damn, like no matter how bad it gets or how low I sink, like I have the opportunity to redeem myself. There is redemption at the end of the tunnel. There is a way I can wake up, and maybe I don't love myself that day, but at the very least I won't hate it. And if I don't hate it, then there's a chance that I might love it, you know?
Yeah, you know, that's the most important thing about all of this. And I think that's gonna happen, you know, like like at this point it has to. And you know, there's music is such a connective, like I feel like music and film, I feel like a big part of the reason why I'm even made this podcast in the first place isn't even just because of my personal relationship to these two things, but because I feel like music and film and literature to a different extent are like, they're the most like connective forces on the planet. Like it's so easy to find yourself or to find a similar emotional bearing or to find like just some sort of connectivity in them because we give ourselves so fully to the experience of experiencing something like that from front to back or even on shuffle, you know? Like, and I think L'Esprit is emblematic of what I appreciate so much about that process, you know? And if I'm feeling that, I'm sure somebody else does too.
Here's
Type
hope.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that got really deep for a second. I just felt the energy shift over here. That was wild.
You remember when we
Um,
were talking about Oshkosh Bagosh?
yeah. But you know what? You know what? I just remembered I do have one more question for you.
Oh,
So,
here.
like I wanna know more about your relationship and history working with BuzzFeed and just like doing like on-camera media personality stuff. So real quick, talk to me about that.
Sure, sure. I'll recap it. I mean, it was one of those things I kind of landed into when I moved to LA. I found like casting calls on Facebook for videos they were shooting. I think the first one I went in for was like this like text-based dating reality show game where like this girl was in a room and she was in a group chat with like me and 9 other dudes, and she had to like pick who she wanted to go on a date with. I was I was like removed near immediately because my goofy. I remember the question I lost on. She was like, "Oh, would you rather have a bunch of money or the love of your life?" And I was like, "Shorty, why not both?" And she was like, "Nope." I was like, "Okay."
That's like Next. You ever watch Next on MTV?
It was pretty much like Next. But yeah, I did that, and then one thing led to another. I got introduced. They have this yearly talent residency program. So if you're a content creator listening to this and you live in LA and you want to like be a part of the BuzzFeed team, look out for the talent residency program. That's how they vet new talent and new on-screen talent. I was fortunate enough to join that during the pandemic, where I was introduced to a lot of producers on their Cocoa Butter channel that they were launching at the same time. So I made friends there. Shout out to Drew. That's my boy. He's my Haitian brother. He beat me in a soup competition video, and I'm looking for redemption. I need to beat Drew at making soup. I don't know why, but I can't rest. And yeah, they're lovely people over at BuzzFeed. Their videos are super fun to shoot. And God, everybody's super funny. So I think they welcomed me with open arms. I'm in talks to do a couple more, so we'll see what happens there. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I forget sometimes that I'm on the videos because I haven't gotten like acknowledged on the street yet for like music stuff, but people always come
Right.
up with, you're the soup guy, you're the pound cake guy, you're the BuzzFeed guy with the date thing. Yeah.
Right. That's hilarious. I love that. And yeah, that soup video was crazy. I know exactly which one you're talking about. You got to you got yeah, bro. You got to come back. You got to come back and make some sort of like really thick spicy gumbo or some shit. I don't know.
Not my proudest moment. Not my proudest moment at all.
Hey, it's okay. You know, like that's why pencils have erasers, and that's why pencils can write. I don't know. It sounded cooler in my head, but you're gonna do it. I got faith in you. You're gonna crush it. So no, I actually just thought of something else since we're talking about this, like the whole you being recognized for the BuzzFeed stuff and not the music stuff. Like, is that, you know, like since you had already been making music for quite some time before that happened, like, you know, like as a creative who dabbles in multiple mediums, like, is there anything that you learned about yourself or you kind of like picked up from music that you brought to your work over at BuzzFeed? And is there anything that you kind of picked up at BuzzFeed that you then brought over to music when you were making your later stuff and the album? Like, do those two things kind of interconnect at all?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I think Zach Fox is the perfect example of, if you're a funny dude, you can make rap. That's all you need. Like if you have a sense of humor and timing, you can make good rap. Like and that goes for acting and being a personality across the spectrum of music. It's not all that different, you know. They inform each other. Talking to you now, like I'm not the BuzzFeed guy. Like I'm not saying that's a character persona, but I'm highlighting, you know, bubblier or, you know, more friendly aspects of my person so that, you know, the video comes out good. And that's what you got to do with music too. Sometimes you write in character. Sometimes you got to, you know, use emotional memory, which is an acting thing, to draw on something that happened that you're trying to process or like explain. Like the creativity blends more than I think a lot of people realize. So it feels very natural. As long as it feels natural, it's gonna come out good.
Right. And you know, like as long as you could rap about stuff being as ugly as Ed Sheeran on an Alchemist beat, that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
You did that.
You know,
you
like
go, Zach.
Yeah. shout out to Zach Fox. I love that album. Shut the fuck up if you're talking to me. Crazy. So good.
Bane, bro. Bane. You know?
Yeah, like Bane is such a good song. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just like he just has it. Like, I don't know if he's actually gonna take it serious, but like he's a great example. What?
I hope he does.
I hope he does too. I want him to tour. Like, I want him to like come to like, because people will show up, you know. Like I was just thinking, like, you know, like if he were to announce a tour tomorrow, the shit would sell out in like an hour. Like it'd be so fast. But nah, like that's what Real Notes is all about, you know, like and it's great that you brought all of that up because, like acting and doing music and like all of those things, they really do blend together so much. Like, you know, like I also grew up, or I didn't grow up in the theater, but like, you know, I was a theater kid for a little while at a time too. I did acting and all that good shit. So like, I also see like that connection means a lot to me because those two things were not only such big parts of my life, but like I've seen them interact. I've seen them interact when I was a kid. I see them interact now. I see that in you. I see that in people like Zach. I really just see that in like pretty much anybody. Like, you know, like you're around it enough and you can start to pick it out and just like notice how things mix. It's just like, it's the whole experience thing. Like if you experience it, like if you do something enough, even if you don't get better, you'll at least hopefully have a better understanding of how the shit works, you know? And I think that comes through in people who have that same understanding. And, you know, you clearly got it. So
you've been showering me with compliments and I can't thank you enough.
No, man, this is like, it's really no problem. This is why you're here, you know. Like I try not to bring people on that I don't like, you know. So like if I bring people on, I'm gonna gas them up as much as I can. That's just what I do, you know. And like ToBy, I can't thank you enough. Like this was, you know, like we've been talking for almost 2 hours and it feels like it's been 20 minutes, you know. Like we just covered so much ground and like this was a real pleasure. Like, not that I didn't expect it to be, but like this is just dope. Like, thank you, bro, for real.
Thank you, man. I've definitely wanted to have this first meet for a minute. I'm so glad you had me on and I'm so glad we got to put it together. I had a great time, man. You're awesome to talk to, for real.
Thank you. I do what I can, you know. I just talk a lot. Like that's my thing. And if anybody gets anything from that, that's, you know, that's more than I could ever ask for. So thank you. Like,
of course.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the Black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.